Welcome to the very first episode of Topia Talk with your host, Amani.
Edwin.
And Antonio.
And basically, we're going to treat this like a internet diary, just talk about whatever comes to our mind. We each pick one topic we want to talk about for the week and share our opinions on it. But with that being said, let's move on to the next topic.
So yeah, on the topic of the future and DC, honestly, it looks brighter than ever because I'm sure y'all saw that Superman trailer came out, and I don't use these words lightly, but it was perfect. Like the trailer alone was absolutely 10 out of 10, and I rewatched it like 4 or 5 times, and I just noticed that they don't even like speak in the trailer. I think there's only like one word that is said, and it's "Crypto, take me home," and that's perfect because I feel like recently trailers give you the whole movie, but James
Hmm.
Gunn knows exactly what to show you to keep you interested and to make sure you go watch the movie for yourself. And there's still a lot of time for the movie to come out, so I hope that in the next couple of months they don't do more trailers that give out the movie. Just keep it short, keep it simple, and let us experience it. But yeah, everything from the score to the visuals to the costume designs, like it was absolute cinema. And again, that was just the trailer, so I can't even imagine what the whole movie's gonna look like. But not only is this good for DC, but it's good for Marvel. Like Marvel's also cooking. We got that Captain America movie coming out. We got the Thunderbolts movie coming out, and all three of these movies look beautiful. They look straight out of a comic, and it finally feels like they're not so worried about making these movies like realistic or like grounded. It doesn't feel like they're just trying to focus on one character. Like they're finally realizing that if they're gonna build these universes and keep them consistent, then for one, we need good stories and we need a good rounded character or characters because if you see in all these movies, there's at least like 3 to 4 superheroes and villains, so it's packed. But they know how to build them correctly and how to keep them all there, so we can be entertained for like the next movies to come forward. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, they don't look grounded. They look straight out of a comic book. You can really feel that with the Superman trailer. Like when you see him like coming in to save people, like even to save that little girl with all that stuff exploding behind them and then the giant kaiju's. Like those are all things that you wouldn't get in the original Superman. You watch the original Superman and it's grounded. Like he either fights other Kryptonians or he fights Lex Luthor. You never got like the giant kaiju battles you did from the comic books. So I'm really excited to see all that finally come to the big screen.
Yeah, honestly, it's looking good. I'm excited for it too. Like you said, I hope they don't um show more trailers and spoil the movie. I'm ready for it now. Even if they do, I might not even take a peek. But it's hard to
Yeah.
avoid spoilers nowadays, so I might get spoiled anyway.
I thought it was pretty amazing. Just to agree with Edwin, this shit straight out of a comic book. Superman looks like Superman. Got the underwear, got the cape with the fucking logo on the cape.
Yeah.
Crypto's right there. They changed crypto a little bit, but I can rock with this crypto. I can rock
Hmm.
with this crypto, right? What I do like what DC is doing, what Marvel's also doing, they're making movies where it's not just one superhero. Like,
Yeah.
he can't do shit by himself, so they're gonna like sprinkle in some other side characters. And I like how they're using a random ass Green Lantern. Like, this is a random ass Green Lantern who looks
Yeah.
mad
Well, not
goofy and
random.
Yeah,
shit.
That's
not
Guy
random.
Gardner.
Guy
No,
Gardner,
no, no,
right?
but Pete, but no
Wait.
one knows who the fuck Guy Gardner is.
Yeah, true.
True. Not the
Unless
first
you
one to
know.
come to mind. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, there's so many Green Lanterns, and they decided to pick the most cockiest, douchebaggiest. Like,
The
this
one
is
that
basically
nobody
Booster
likes.
Gold. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like Booster Gold Green Lantern. So, this is even building up to the Booster Gold movie coming out in the future. But Mr. Terrific, Mr. Terrific's in it. It's like random ass. I didn't even know Hot Girl's gonna be in it. So it's like random characters to where it's like, okay, I appreciate that. Definitely shows that Superman is gonna need help. That Superman is not the strongest. Even like how the trailer started is with him getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't even imagine Superman getting fucked up, or everyone's like, oh, like what that. James Gunn knows what he's doing, but I just hope he doesn't Guardian of the Galaxy it too much. That's what I'm
Hmm.
hoping for. Like he could do the comedy shit at Marvel, but when it's DC, we're serious over here.
See, but that was the problem with the Snyder universe. People complain that it was too serious. And if it's serious, I feel like it's fine, but keep like the very, very serious tones for like Batman because I feel like Superman was never a very serious character. Like when he first came out, he was the symbol of hope. So his comic books were always very colorful, very like motivational, very like he saves the day always. Like he never fucking failed. So I see why they have like James Gunn doing the tone that he's doing because when I watched the trailer, the only thing that I walked away was hope. I'm like, yeah, bro, like this shit gave me hope. It gave me hope for the
Feel that?
DC movies. It gave me hope for
Hmm.
Superman. It gave me hope for everything. And like I said, this is good for Marvels too, because I feel like Marvel has had no competition for the last 10, 12 years. And if DC can finally give them competition, then it's going to push Marvel to stay doing better and keep doing better so they can compete with DC. And then it'll just be a back and forth of good movies. So it's honestly a win-win for both sides.
And let me just chip in. Yeah, like everything James Gunn says about the movie, it's so
Hmm.
good. Like he sounds like he
Yeah.
understands Superman. He's like showing the comics it was going to be based off of, like the comics he was reading recently. He explains his reasonings for why he does certain things, like the underwear. It's like, his mom made his suit, and it's kind of like a wrestler vibe too.
Hmm.
I think he has like shoulder pads too. It's like his mom's worried about him. Like even though he's the man of steel, she's still worried about uh her little boy, putting them shoulder
Right.
pads for him just to be safe. So it sounds like he knows what he's doing. Sounds like he's putting a bunch of love into every single detail of the movie. So I have a lot of confidence that's going to be good.
How do y'all feel about the actors? Cause I'm getting a lot of complaints on social media about the character select, the actor selections for certain of the characters. Like Guy Gardner,
Um,
Superman himself.
Yeah, people are just mad that it's not Henry Cavill, and I
Yeah.
understand he got fucked over,
Mm,
but I'm not gonna pass any judgment until I watch the movie, and anyone that does is not a real movie critic. Like, I'm not saying like I'm like Rotten Tomatoes or anything, but you can't judge something until it's actually out and you fully experience it. So I'll definitely get back to y'all on that when the movie's done with.
like I'm just
Yeah.
assuming that they just want to pick younger actors, or at least comic book lookalikes. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because Superman definitely looked like he's like in his early late 20s,
yeah, I know what you mean. Like, definitely just like a young person we can work with for the next 10 to 15 years.
right? To where like Henry Cavill and the guy prior, they were like middle-aged men.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely something for the new generation. But as time goes on, he'll definitely will grow into the role. But we'll see though.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was definitely seeing a lot of hate. People were saying, "Oh, Snyder did it better. Like Henry Cavill is the best Superman." People think everything that Zack Snyder does is infinitely times better. It's crazy, bro. I don't know where all this support is coming from and where all this hate is coming from. But y'all, they definitely need to relax with this shit. I think he looks good as Superman. I think the suit looks fine. They're saying this is the biggest downgrade of all time, like suit
Whoa.
wise, actor wise, like movie color looking wise. And it's like, damn, bro, like I just said, let it drop. So that's the final thing I'm gonna say. Like, let that shit drop, and then we'll come back to you. And if it's good, it's good. And if it's not, we'll let you know.
Well, let's talk about the Batman Cape Crusaders. That came out during the summertime, believe it or not. Forgot this even dropped. But this dropped like late August, 10 episodes. Definitely, I feel like it's a rehash, reimagine of the Batman animated series that came out like in the early 90s. Darker tone though. Amazon
Yeah,
Prime definitely carried this show. I like how it takes place in like that 1940s, 1950s with like a young Bruce Wayne, and they definitely took some twists and turns with the narratives. Cause let me tell you, I wasn't feeling it at first for the first 3 to 4 episodes. I took a break, but Monty keeps telling me like it gets good, it gets better. Should ended on a banger. Should did end on a banger. Definitely looking forward to season two.
I have no complaints with the Batman Cape Crusader. I finished it in like two sittings, I would say. The shit was good. And then I had to tell Antonio to keep watching it because he took a break. I was like, why the fuck did you take a break? You got to finish that. And then he finally finished it. This shit was good. We could have got the same old boring shit. I know everybody was complaining.
Hmm.
Like, oh, why they do this? The only complaint I heard was for the Harley Quinn. Like, oh, they fucked up Harley Quinn. Why she look like this? What is this? And it's like, bro, why
Yeah,
do
I
you
mean,
have
like
the
some of the
same thing every single time? They did it good. Like, they made the penguin a female, but they did something with it. They gave the penguin kids,
Yeah,
and then they're like a mob family. Like they're doing something with it. So as long as you do something with it, I'm cool. Especially with the Harley Quinn, like her whole backstory and shit that they had in the show. That was fucking like it doesn't involve the Joker at all. It's just completely her
exactly.
and how she turned evil, and it's fucking good. It's genius. They were
It was a
cooking
good
with this
twist
show.
that she was Batman. Like basically, she was his doctor at the
Yeah, like
beginning. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a cool setup. Cool setup. All right, but
I have
her
no complaints.
costume design, I didn't really have a problem with it. I think they just went more towards the theme of the year, or the time period
Yeah.
for all the characters. To where like Harley Quinn is understandable. Like she looks like an actual fucking Joker from a card. So I'm like, all right. I mean, I guess like it was too on the nose. Some of the art designs are too on the nose, but I appreciate it though. I appreciate it, and they got Clayface in there. They're about to introduce the Joker next season, so definitely got more wiggle room to branch out, get better. But I got no complaints to be honest. To be honest, I sat down, rewatched it, but I had a good ride. Definitely a good spin on the 1940s Batman era. But looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. Just to build off James Gunn, he is still on a roll, dropping cartoons now, and this is the first cartoon that's going to be connected to the bigger DCU. So this will be in the same universe as that Superman live action.
Yep.
For everyone that doesn't know that, bloody, gory, mature, has a funny tone. James
Hmm.
Gunn, but it is James Gunn written all over it. Like he even drew himself into the freaking show.
Hmm.
Bullshit.
Yeah, like the Rick Flag dude.
Hmm.
All right, that's cool. They got Rick Flag in there. It's the father of the Rick Flag that died in the Suicide Squad movie. All right, cool. Why is he being like a player? Because right now they're with a princess, and like episode, not even episode two, like he's already like fucking 3 feet down with her, already in a fucking
Is that a
relationship.
complaint about the show?
A lot of people complain about it. It's like he's a player in the show for some fucking reason. But the girl definitely is like in her early 20s. This dude's like in his late 50s.
Oh,
True.
okay.
So it's definitely like very over sexualized in this show. I heard that they're supposed to have more DC characters and villains throughout it, but have yet to see the newest episode. They're on the fourth episode right now, and what they're doing right now is every episode is they're gonna give like the backstory to each character. So the third episode was about GI Robot, to how he became a freaking Nazi killing machine. And the fourth episode I heard is supposed to be about Weasel. So if anyone's interested on that crazy furry character from Suicide Squad, he got a prequel episode. But overall, this show I am giving it a 5 out of 10. Okay, it's
Damn.
honestly,
That was a lot of sucking you
personally,
were doing to give it a 5 out of 10. You're sucking it
let
so
me tell
hard.
you, let me tell you. It's whatever at this point. It
Yeah.
is a whatever show at this point. Like it's cool that we have it, but it's not like the best thing
So I
to come
definitely
out.
have a lot of problems with the show. I did take some notes. I only saw the first two episodes because it was so fucking painful to watch. First episode, they're making jokes about his middle name. They're like, "Oh, your middle name's Bill? Whose middle name is Bill? What the fuck? Hey, yo, his middle name's Bill." That like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, I can't believe
Oh,
that even got into the fucking script. Again, this is the first episode. They come into the city because it's the creature commandos. They're all monsters. They go on to their mission. They got to protect the princess, and then they do a bow, and then they're like, "Oh, you did the wrong bow. We're gonna kill you now." And then they all start freaking out, and then they're like, "Nah, bro, we're fucking with you, bro. There's no secret
well, that
bow."
even happened.
That
Okay.
shit was so ass, bro. That wasn't funny at all. Like, bro, what is this shit, bro? Like, honestly, what the fuck is this shit? Like, they should be serious. They're losing a
Yeah.
war. They're in the middle of a fucking war that they're losing. Creature commandos pull up for reinforcements, and you're making fucking jokes. And it's the fucking worst jokes I've ever heard in my fucking life, too. They're all obsessed with America. The princess is talking about, oh yeah, I fuck with America and rock and roll and shit. The bride and the fish girl walk out. They just walk out the front door, like they don't even help in the mission. They literally walk out as soon as they get there. and like nobody even notices until like 30 minutes later, some shit like that. They don't tie up the criminals or nothing. Like it's very loosey goosey. Like usually they have the things, the bombs in their neck, but instead of Amanda having the remote control, Rick Flag has it. So fucking they get into a fight, and then he's trying to take the remote. It's Rick Flag against the fucking fire
The
dude.
skeleton dude.
And it was
Yeah.
the worst fight ever because he's made of fire. He's literally bright green. I don't know how hot you have to burn for bright green, but he's literally on fire. And he's fighting him. He's literally throwing hands with him. They're both throwing hands. And he doesn't have any burn marks. He puts on some fucking mittens. They go into the
Mittens.
kitchen
Yup.
and he
Yup.
puts on some fucking mittens, bro. And they go back to boxing. And then I think he wins in the end, or he grabs the remote or whatever, and it's just so bad. And then he ends up sleeping with that princess girl, and just a James Gunn self-insert. He's like smashing the
Hmm.
princess. It's like this shit was bad. And then episode two, it's about the bride. That shit was
Mhm.
even worse. She's the bride of Frankenstein. Frankenstein wanted a wife. She ends up fucking the scientist instead. And then Frankenstein kills the scientist. It's so bad. It's so cringe. It's not funny, bro. Like I'm not laughing.
But what
I'm not
about
having a good time.
the bride fight scene?
The bride fight scene I did say was pretty good. You know, it's short, but it's good. And then
Yeah,
I think
I'm
it
mad at
goes,
how short it was.
yeah, it's good, but it's short. But other than that, I did not like the first two episodes at all. I had no positives except the one fight scene. That's the only positive I had. James Gunn, you fucked up with this. I don't know, bro.
I didn't watch the show yet, so I'm not gonna say anything on it per se. I do know, like Antonio kind of mentioned earlier, it is the same universe that we're gonna see in the live action. So everything that happens in the cartoon show will have it happens in the Superman live action shit, and we are getting a character from the show in the Superman. It's Rick Flag. He's gonna be in the Superman movie, and it's gonna be the same voice actor portraying the character in real life. And he's doing that across the board for all his cartoon characters in any project. So whoever does the voice acting for the character will be the actor for the real life character too. I think that's really cool. That's unique. We've never really seen anything like that before. And it just shows that he's trying to keep everything as connected and organized as possible. Obviously, not everything is gonna hit. Not everything is made for the same people. Like, even though it's all supposed to be connected in the broader universe, it's still gonna have different audiences, right? Like, he can make the zombie show, and that could be for zombie fans. He can make a space show, that could be for space fans. He can make a fucking spy show, and that'll be for the thriller fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
But you
even though
could
it's all
say
gonna be
that, but like
connected,
when it gets down the line, it's gonna turn
mhm.
into Marvel, to where it's like now you gotta watch that show to understand this plot
Well,
line. You gotta
here's the
watch
thing:
that shit to
people say
understand
it's gonna
this.
turn into Marvel, but that's how superhero DC and Marvel specifically have always been. Like everything in DC
Hmm.
has always connected to one storyline. Everything in Marvel has always connected to one storyline. That's simply how comic book works. Like DC doing this isn't them following in Marvel's footsteps. It's just them doing what they've done since the comic book ages. They're just doing it better now. Arguably, definitely doing it better now
Yeah,
because we're seeing
I
more
feel like when
care
they
for
first
it.
started, not to cut you off, but like I feel like how
Mm,
they first started off, they were doing just a lot of multiverses shit. Like
too
that
much multiverse
studio
shit.
got like their rights to that superhero, they got their rights to that superhero. They can't do no connected universe. Now that everything's like loosey goosey,
Mm,
everyone got everyone together. Now they can start doing like crossovers, big ass one storyline, have him with him, her with her. Go
Yeah,
beyond fucking boundaries.
no, and that's exactly the final point I wanted to make. Like they can go beyond the boundaries because since the animated stuff is connected to the live action stuff, anytime they need to do any super crazy scenes, like for example, let's say Superman fighting fucking Darkseid, like yeah, that will look dope live action, but you got to remember so much CGI is gonna have to go into it that it might affect the way it looks and overall the production. But if you have it in animated form, they can go absolute dog shit crazy. And guess what? Next time we get a live action Superman movie, that still technically happened. Like it was still a canon fight that happened prior to that movie. You gotta understand? Like you can get so much cooler stuff in the animated shit and let it build up for the live action stuff. And
Hmm.
I think he can really do a good job with this.
I mean, shit. Just to add on to Edwin's earlier, he was saying all the voice actors are going to connect. I really don't care if all the voice actors connect or not, as long as they all sound like similar. Then I don't care about the voice actor. if it's the same as the actor. But hey, he's doing it. I know people are going insane for that, so it's whatever. Doesn't really matter if the shows are bad. Creature Commandos is bad.
Yo, didn't finish it though. It might be able to change your mind.
I was like,
Yeah,
episode three was better. I'll say it's better. Not the greatest, but
yeah, I'm gonna definitely give it another shot. So the topic I wanted to talk about was the Penguin. You know, it was a show that came out by DC this year, and that shit was just so fucking good. So I'm gonna just go over all 8 episodes and talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. So spoilers, obviously. Yeah, first 2 episodes were great. The Penguin, first episode alone, Penguin was intimidating. He had that aura on him. He was a genius. They set up a great mob story within the first hour, which I feel like is hard to do.
Hmm.
Penguin feels like a real character. They had Michael Began from Mrs. Maisel on the show. I love Aunt put me on Mrs. Maisel. Love the actor. He played Mrs. Maisel's wife, Michael Began. So yeah, he was on it. He did amazing for the little time that he was in it. Didn't really run into any problems with the show until like ep 3. So long story short, in episode 1, the Penguin forces this kid named Vic to work for him, and I'm thinking he's just another Gotham goon, Gotham civilian. That would have been perfectly fine. They didn't even have to get into his backstory, but they decided to go into it, and not only is it bad, I feel like they made it up just to add extra drama to the story. Like they show him with his family and his girl, and his dad talks about how he hates gang members and he loves his simple but cozy lifestyle. And the Riddler, he floods the entire block while Vic and his girlfriend were out at a party. So Vic loses his family. And yeah, shit's crazy. But here's what I don't like about his backstory. Why are they just now introducing his girlfriend? Why is he just now even thinking about her? Because the Penguin is set 1 week after the events of the flood. So he waited an entire week to think about his girl and call her back. And in episode 2, he was hanging out with a bunch of hoes and he wasn't even worried about her. So I just don't know like what their thought process was. It just doesn't make any sense. As if that wasn't enough BS, she then goes on to tell Vic, oh, that she's leaving the town and she's leaving tomorrow. I called it. I wrote it in my notes. Like, watch her say she's going to leave tomorrow. She says it, I'm going to leave tomorrow. And she wants him to go with her. And he responds with, ooh, I don't know if my boss will let me leave, though. Kind of telling her, like, oh, he's in the gang, even though they just got done with his backstory, talking about how his dad hates gangs and how his girl hates gangs, and he just throws that out there. So she's kind of, you know, shocked by that, taken aback, and she says, "Hey, if you want to come, come. If you don't, don't." And then she leaves. There's some more artificial drama at the end of episode 3 where Oz takes Vic's phone for no reason and he goes through it. It just came out of nowhere. I kind of felt like it was out of character for him to do that too. I don't know. When Vic tries to explain the text about him wanting to quit, he starts to stutter, and Oz gets upset at him for stuttering. This was interesting because he usually lets the kid speak for himself and tells other people to let Vic speak and never help and interrupt him. But when he feels betrayed, it's F your feelings. So that was very penguin of him. Uh, on to episode 4. Some things I didn't like. Actually, in the very beginning, there is one slight hiccup. You get Sophia's backstory, and she's playing hide and seek, and she's looking for her brother. She looks under the bed, and then she looks up, and then she notices her mom like hanging, and that part just kind of broke the immersion for me. And kind of made me laugh because it's like, how did you not notice your mom hanging? You looked under the bed and then looked up. I don't know. That's crazy. Like she ran into the room, didn't notice the body. I just thought that was weird. Other than that, episode 4 was amazing. You see how Sophia got framed for all the hell she went through in Arkham. Like, one doctor did believe her, but doctor couldn't really help her out. He could only sit there and watch everything unfold. It completely changes the way you look at Sophia and the show as a whole. You reimagine every single scene with Sophia because she was innocent, but no one believed her, including the audience. Like everyone thought she was guilty. I thought she was guilty and crazy. She was innocent. So now, like, it makes you want to go look at the older episodes and you're gonna look at it through a new light, through a new perspective. That was so dope. And her backstory was really good. You see a normal person go insane, like she turns into the hangman, you could say, and it was just so good. No notes on episode 5, no notes on episode 6. Those were just pure fucking bangers, so I didn't write anything about that. Uh, I think I wrote a lot for episode 7. Yeah, I did not like that shit. Oh yeah, they were fighting. I wrote, why did he die of a heart attack in the middle of the fight? That shit came out of nowhere. It was Vic.
Right.
It was the Penguin versus that other mobster dude, and then he just dies of a heart attack. And it's like, imagine having your anime final boss fight, and the dude just dies of a heart attack. That shit was whack. Oh yeah, and then he said he had the cringiest fucking lines of all time when he died of the heart attack. He was saying, I can't fucking believe it. What the fuck? You were supposed to destroy me. Get up. And I'm like, bro, because he was winning that fight until he died of the heart attack. So I thought that shit was whack.
I mean, at least he tried to acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this is bullshit. What the fuck just
Yeah, just because you
happened?
acknowledge it doesn't erase you of your sins, though. I hate when movies and video games do that. Like, that doesn't count.
Did they not like lead up to the heart attack, like having
Nope,
him go
not
to
at
the
No,
all.
it came out of
Not at
doctors
all.
nowhere.
or
It really just came
anything?
out of nowhere.
Just came out of
Crazy.
nowhere.
Like, they were boxing. It was the final showdown. You think this shit's like, the fucking Game of Thrones final. That shit that hit the fan, but nope.
So, some more things that I didn't like about episode 7 was how Sophia handled her snitching situation. So basically, Sophia unalives her entire family except for this one little girl, and I think they end up sending her to some child care center or something. And it turns out that the kid has been telling staff members that she thinks her family's passing wasn't an accident, but on purpose. She vaguely remembers seeing someone with a strange mask, but she was too tired to really care, slash, didn't think nothing of it at the time. Before this info gets to the police, it gets to Sophia's henchmen, and they tell Sophia, and she decides to try to talk to the kid. I just feel like this entire convo was bad and it was so weird. It basically starts with her going to the hospital. She sees the kid. She's like, "Hey, how are you doing? Like, what did you see? You could tell me anything." And then the kid responds with, "Oh, I saw the mask in your bag. Be honest, did you kill my parents?" And I just think this is all weird. And then Sophia responds with, "Nah, I didn't do it. Like, it was an accident. And also, you should stop trying to put the blame on me. I don't know why you're trying to put the blame on people. This is mad weird." But, oh, also, I'm glad that they're dead too, because they were all jerks. And, yeah, kid, that's just the way the world works. I just think that whole thing was handled poorly, written poorly. Why didn't Sophia just raise the kid? That's her family. Or even if she's not in a good headspace to raise a kid, she could have like sent her somewhere else. She just completely forgot about her. So I don't know. I just felt like that whole thing was weird. Another thing I wrote was that both Oz and Sophia aren't full evil yet. I feel like they're still teetering on the edge of darkness. Sophia could have killed the kid, but she didn't. And Oz is taking Vic under his shoulder, trying to teach him the ways, the street code, and whatever. So they're not fully evil yet. Sophia isn't really the hangman, and the penguin isn't really the penguin. And I just thought that was cool. I wrote that down. Fast forward a bit into the episode, and we have Sophia. She kidnaps the penguin's mom. Uh, Oz's mom is mad cool though. She's not a damsel in distress. She actually hits Sophia with some mind gameplay and basically tells her, "Oh, you're not even getting revenge on your dad. You're just doing what he wants you to do. Like you're just trying to pretend to be rebellious, but nothing about you is original. You're playing right into his hands." And she was definitely right about that, and I just thought that was so cool. Oz's mom is a G. Fast forward more into the episode, they had a brilliant camera work. They made it look like Sophia was in this car, and when the penguin opens the door, she's not in the car. It's like a bomb, and a bomb goes off. And the camera work there was so cool. You just have to see it for yourself, but it was so cool, so good. I had to shout that out. And the last thing I wrote for episode 7 was that I can't believe first Gotham had a flood and now they had a massive bombing. Like, where is Batman at? He needs to come out from hiding and he needs to handle this. So that's all I had for episode 7. Episode 8 was good. It was amazing. I'm just gonna add context here, set the scene. So Sophia kidnaps the penguin's mom and gets her to talk about the penguin's childhood so she can learn how the penguin got so messed up. it's almost the same story when Oz told it, but now we get the full truth and there's no lies in it. It turns out everybody was messed up from the jump. She knew Oswald unalived his own brothers the whole time, and she was even planning on unaliving him, but she kind of got talked out of it. They were also arguing a bit back at the diner when Oz told the story. He said it was a perfect night, but it turns out it wasn't perfect. Also, he offered his mom to dance, not the other way around. So I just thought all that was cool. You're gonna look at every episode and scene with the penguin from a new perspective now. So again, just amazing writing right there. Later on, Sophia kidnaps Oz and ties him up in a chair next to his mom. Sophia wants to get him to own up to his crimes, but he plays dumb, even when Sophia threatens to cut off his mother's pinky in front of him. That's when the mother screams, like, I know you did it, Oswald. I always knew I hate you, and I had enough love to go around, but you were so greedy. And then, yeah, they kind of just let the mom get up, and then she gets up and then stabs Oswald, like, in the gut. And then she has a stroke and passes out. All of this was good. Everything I just said was good. The part that I don't like is what happens next. So, next, the penguin breaks out of his chair by, like, falling over, I guess, and he breaks out the chair and then he kills like three of Sophia's henchmen and then he grabs his mom and then they hop into a car and they drive away, and all of that made no sense. Like, no way the penguin's slow fat self got out of that crazy situation like without getting hurt, not once. Like, yeah, he got stabbed, but that doesn't count. And why was the car just like open with the keys in it? Like, the whole scene was just so bad. I did not like it. Fast forward a bit, Oz gets a cute pep talk from Vic. He tells him to not give up. You're the penguin. You're the goat. I thought that was cool. At the end of the episode, Penguin and the kid have another deep heart to heart moment, but that's when the penguin turns into the penguin. He kills the kid. He tells him, love makes me weak. I realize that now. And he loves the kid, so he kills him so he could not have any more weaknesses. Kind of reminded me of when Sophia transformed into the Hangman, because now the penguin is transforming into the penguin. Oz ends up sending Sophia back to Arkham, like frames her again for another crime. And at the very end, they show the penguin getting his costume, his black and white tuxedo. So again, he becomes the penguin at the end. It was just so good, so good.
Now, what will you give it as a rating?
IGN gave it a 5 out of 10. I don't agree with that. Definitely higher. Probably like a fucking maybe like a 8 or a 9. It was really good. I was tuned in every episode, not gonna lie.
Right.
Definitely an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10.
I feel about the same exact rating. To be honest with you, yeah, it has its ups and its downs, but it executed. Definitely got me looking forward towards the second Batman movie. And I heard they're supposed to have a Clayface movie too on top of that. Not a movie, but a show. Definitely looking forward to the future of this because they're onto something. They're onto something with this dark tone Batman um, storyline that they're doing. 'Cause the Penguin was definitely unexpected. Didn't expect that from DC.
Yeah, I know they were talking about doing another season. I don't know if they will or not, but maybe just leave it at one season. I feel like there was enough.
Yeah,
They did good enough. The story is over. It was the Penguin origin story. I feel like there were too many hiccups in the story too, low key. So maybe an 8.5, not a 9, like a 8, 8.5 final score, because there were so many times where the Penguin just gets out of life-threatening situations. Like, they had him tied up with like 5 guns to his head and he'll break out of that shit. And it happened like fucking 2, 3 times near the end, and it was just complete fucking bullshit every single time. So if we're counting that plus all the other story hiccups with like Vic and his weird story, it was kind of sloppy, and the forced in drama, then yeah, I'm gonna say an 8. With that being said, we're gonna wrap up this episode right here. If you like what you heard and you want to become a member of our island, drop a follow, subscribe, leave a like. All of that helps us. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to know what we're gonna do next when we're gonna do it, peep the Twitter. We're TopiaCast on Twitter and Blue Sky. And with that being said, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.